Hey guys, it's Nico here, and it's about time I updated the depth map tutorial. I have a cold right now, so excuse me for sounding a bit nasal, but let's get right into this. The first problem we had last time was that we couldn't really turn it off. Once you turned it on, you had to restart the game. The Grow Effects mod by Gmzorz came out right afterwards, and one of the commands we used to work the depth map disabled the grow effects. First off, let's get into the new config. Welcome to Depth2. The way that grow effects works is with the drawn models, obviously, and so with model limit set to 0, you can't really get a true depth mat with those on. Allow me to demonstrate. All this grass is very nice, and the problem here is that the command r_model_limit0 will turn it off, like so. As you can see there, it is gone. And if we put the model limit back up, you can see that it is back. Okay, so here's Cheat Engine again. Let's go ahead and select our process and hit yes. And if we go through here and check on the ones which have a description, we can start setting them up. So, fog bias is 1000. Fog rotation can be anything. I like setting it to -420. Flare size is slightly important, about around 50. 30 to 50 is good. These values all need to be the same. 3 zeros, there we go, and just copy that, and next one, and next one, next one, next one, next one. Okay, very good. Then over here, height needs to be 1000. Fog rotation can be anything, set to -32. Fog distance, this is where it starts to get interesting. 1, and then, alright, that's right, that's it. Okay, depth map. Look familiar? Well, it should. So, as you can see, our grass is gone. Well, we're not so happy with that, so we're going to need to figure out the model limit for this map. Now, each map has a different model limit, and that's a little bit of a pain. Let's try maybe 50. There we go. You can see 50 was the key here. How you need to know is that the sky is still the same color, but your grass is there. You also want to look up at the sky and jump. And if by jumping the sky switches from white to black, then you know you need to change it to a lower number. You want to walk around the map just to make sure that your number is good enough. You might also want to turn off your screen space ambient occlusion by going to Settings, Advanced, and turning off your ambient occlusion. That'll get you just a cleaner depth map without all that pop in from AO. So at this point, you'd want to record. And when you're done recording, you'd want to turn it off. Load up this other brilliant config here, which I've called Depth2 off. You can do that. Now, it looks very white because it is very white. That's because the fog is still doing its thing. So we need to set these values. You can say this is a really, really large number. Bam! Done. That was easy. Once we're here in After Effects, we'll want to import our stuff. I'm sure you can guess I recorded that all off screen. So let's just go into my revised app folder and grab some footage. Right here I have a green screen recorded, and we'll grab part 1 of that and then my depth map. So here we go. Here are our 3 files. You don't need to record your depth map and your gun as different, but I highly, highly recommend doing it. So we want to pre-compose these as multiple compositions so you can get 3. Then for the sake of organization, we're just going to drag our originals into a folder, call that raw. That's not how you spell raw. There we go, raw. And then once we have our 3 here, we're going to pre-compose yet again, this time as a single composition, and we're going to check that. So let's just shorten our comp by selecting a place and hitting N. You can see I forgot to turn my ambient occlusion off while I was recording this one. Anyways, so we have our depth map here, and we're going to want to turn down the opacity just to make sure that it is matching up. Now here is a good example of not following my own advice. As you can see here, this van is getting turned off by the depth map because I recorded this model limit at 0. Now that's why you don't do that. I want to reiterate, last time I gave a little bit of a more advanced look into keying out the gun. I'm going to do this again because nobody listened. I was seeing edits with edges around the gun continuously, and it's not professional. Please take an extra little bit of time, do it properly. Key light is not a one-click fix. It is not. So we're gonna get key light. This is a built-in preset for After Effects. Grab it. If you take this and put it on your combined mat, then hold on, I screwed up that order. Source, green, combined mat. You can see here we have a nice mat. And that's not going to be perfect if we go to intermediate. Keyword intermediate. You can see we have this nice little green edge here. That's not pretty. So, simple fix. There you go. If you don't like this edge, you can of course fix it by turning down your clip white and turning up your clip black. Okay, so what now? Well, obviously we have depth of field, so camera lens blur. And you gotta select your depth map, and then make sure to repeat edge pixels. That gets rid of this little edge here. You can see that we have an edge, and that is fixed like that. This over here is your amount of blur. Unless you have around 8 gig of VRAM, I would not recommend turning this over 20. Over 20, even my 1070 was suffering. Just keep it a little lower. If you don't like the blur on the gun, you can always drag that below. And then this over here is your focal distance. Say you want to focus on the far away thing, you can drag this slider around to focus, but I recommend having that like that if you're going to be focusing on the far away things. This is one you've probably seen if you've been watching my previews and all the rest of the stuff. And how you do that effect is actually extremely simple. All we gotta do is duplicate our depth map. We're gonna drag that on top. Make sure that the opacity is 100%. And we're going to tint colorama. And we want to put those like that. Now, colorama is a very, very great effect. It's very powerful. We're going to be using this slider over here. We're going to be animating it with an expression. So let's alt-click. That's Alt on your keyboard and click on the stopwatch. We're going to type time, asterisk, that's Shift 8, and then anything from 150 up to 250. For the sake of the demonstration, I'll set 250. And what this will do is it will cause this to cycle very fast in your shades. And this effect is extremely powerful. So we're going to go ahead, turn this off, turn that off, I'm going to stick that at the bottom. Also going to turn that one off. And we're going to grab a adjustment layer. The keyboard shortcut for adjustment layers is Control-Alt-Y and Command-Alt-Y on Mac. Let's go ahead and get some displacement map, but first we want a motion tile. And then displacement map. On our motion tile here, we want to see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and mirror edges. Then over here, here's our keys. You want to take the one which you modified, which is my 5 here, and make sure you have it set to luminance. Now, I don't really like the horizontal displacement, so we're going to use only vertical. And you can see what that is doing here. Look at that. And of course, if you leave it at a value like this, that's going to animate too. So now, it is time to demonstrate a very cool tool which one of my friends made. And the link to where you can get his tool is in the description. So back to Black Ops 2. Welcome to Amyst tool. This is the most advanced console I have ever seen. It's got our single command here and timescale, as well as the normal ones. And of course you can load a config. Here's depth on and off. And it's got suites upon suites of features. It's got this whole entire thing here, including a depth mat on and off. Brilliant, right? I will be linking everything in the description below. Have fun with my configs and go check out Amyst tool. And I will see you guys in the next edit. Man, that sucked.